Hi, and welcome to Massell Creations. Today we are making a mess. I'm not 100% sure of this project, but whether it works or not, I'm going to show it to you. So we have this mold that I ordered from Amazon, and it's meant to hold pencils and makeup brushes and that sort of thing. And what I have done is I have taken a napkin like this that I ordered, and it has this cute little school bus on it, and it says back to school. And I thought I'm gonna make coasters probably at some point, but I want to try and make a pencil holder for a teacher, or actually it's probably gonna go on my desk. We'll see what happens. But I ended up, they obviously is way too big to fit in our mold. So I cut half a circle shape up here to make sure that it can fit that curvature of our pencil holder. I went out, you have to separate it because it is 2-ply. And so there's a backing to it, and it's laying right here. Whoop, I just ripped it, that's okay. So it has a back, so you just have to peel the two pieces away so that you end up with just the front. And then I don't throw the back side away because you'll be able to use it to clean up resin mess, because you know I always make that. So I cut this out so that it would fit into there, and then I took it outside and very carefully I sprayed it with clear spray paint just to seal the napkin so that it didn't bleed, and hopefully it doesn't look wet inside the mold. It does have a little bit of a wet look. I'm going to try and pick this up without messing everything up. And you can kind of see it, and see how I had to cut it at an angle because the back of the holder goes this way. So the next thing that I did is I poured, I don't know if you can see this little glare right here on the side. That's UV resin, and there's just a little thin layer, maybe 1/8 of an inch down in the bottom. I put UV resin down here in the bottom, put this in, and then dried my UV resin, set it, so that when I pour the resin in, the napkin doesn't float up to the top. And then I don't know if you can see around there, I've got some little odds and ends of different things that I wanted to put inside my mold, including I have a box of crayons that I got from the Dollar Tree. And all I did was, my intent was to cut these in half this way so that I have 2 halves of my crayon, and then I could use the crayons in there. But they're way too frail. Every time I tried to cut them, I was just butchering them. I think I ended up throwing like all but 2 crayons away. So I cut them in half this way, and then just cut as much of this in half as I could, and ended up most of the time with maybe an inch and a half of the actual colored crayon. I could not save the paper, but you can still see that it's a crayon and it works fine. And then many moons ago, when I had leftover resin, I would make these letters. I have a little mold that makes these little letters. And so what I did was I took some of these letters that I thought would look really cute in there. I tried to pick some bright colors, pinks and blues. I think I got a yellow in there, purple. I ended up with a black and a green. That's not very bright, but for most of my letters, I was okay because I wasn't going to have to worry about bubbles too much. Bubbles are going to be my #1 enemy on this. So what I did is, like on the H, for example, it's going to sit in the mold this way so that it reads right. Even if I angled it, the bottom piece of that H that's cut out is going to end up getting bubbles in it. So I took some UV resin and a little mold that I had. This is just my little turtle mold, and I turned it over and I put this on there, and I tilted it up like this, and I poured UV resin in there so that it was level with the center of the H. So it's kind of at an angle, and then I dried it or cured it that way. So there's an angle, so when it's in the mold this way, when it's in there this way, the resin, as the bubbles work their way up, it'll be like a ramp. They should hopefully, in theory, that's what I'm thinking, that's what I'm hoping, they should just ramp up off of that and not cause bubbles under my H. Fingers crossed. My letter R, I have a letter O in there. I have a U. The U, I did the same thing as I did with the H, except for obviously it's a horseshoe, so I filled the entire center of the horseshoe up, because what we're looking at is the bottom, so the U needs to be upside down so that when I flip it over, it's right side up. And that whole encasing, or the whole center of that U, I was going to fight with bubbles in there because the resin would come up this way and catch the bubbles inside that U. So I filled it the same way that I did this one. I have an R, I have an O, and it's going to sit in again upside down. So I'm not worried about the resin that's coming in on top of that R because I shouldn't get bubbles here. But this hole in the middle of my R and the hole that's in the middle of that O, they were going to fill up. So I filled both of those with resin. And then the S, I wasn't sure how that was going to catch. These don't look pretty, but once you get them in resin, it's not going to matter because you're not going to see all that. So I just filled up both halves of the S. So it's essentially a solid block of resin. That way, hopefully, no matter what direction the resin comes in from, it'll be covered. Again, this is all theoretical. I don't know 100% that this is going to work, but I hope it does. And then I'm just going to take these and I'm just going to stick them very carefully because this is pointed. Don't touch your mold with it. You don't want to mess up your mold. I'm just going to push these down in the mold. There's no right side, wrong side up with some of these letters, and that was intentional. Except for, like that H, you want to make sure that the part that I put the UV resin into is on the bottom so that it's not upside down or you're going to get bubbles anyway. All right. I also have all of these little shapes that I poured from extra resin. I had squares, I have circles, I have diamonds, I have all kinds of different shapes. So I just took those and kind of randomly put those in there as well, along with my crayons, and we're going to see what happens. So I'm excited and nervous, and it'll be great. It'll be fine. What could go wrong? It'll be lovely. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff stuck right there. The downside with this, and I've had to build up some of the edges with UV resin. Let's see if I can get that out of there. Almost. I've had to make them a little thicker because they tend to all fall to the bottom. And I didn't want everything sitting clear up here at what will be the top of it. You can see my R fell down a little bit, so I'm just going to get in the mold. I'm going to pull that. It's thicker, so there we go. I want you to go there we go. There. And then, yeah, that looks great. And then I'll take my O and we're going to put it right there, but I'm going to make it a little bit thicker so that it'll stick. And then I have mixed up my resin, and in our resin, I've mixed in, I show you a picture. This is deep pour resin because I want it to stay when I want the air bubbles to be able to come out easily. So I chose deep pour resin. This is my first pour with deep pour resin. I understand the concept. I've just never used it before, which is no big deal. It's just resin. It's just going to take longer to cure. And it's going to help my bubbles escape. So this way, hopefully I'll end up with no bubbles. It's a much thinner product. I did put just a glob, 1-2 drops of glue in it to thicken it up just the tiniest amount because I didn't want all of my gold flakes and my crushed crystal to sink to what would be the bottom of this. So it's still super thin. It's just a little more gloopy than deep pour resin would be. I probably totally messed this up. You know, it's not, you're supposed to keep it thin so that you can work the bubbles out of it. And here I've just made it gloopier. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more UV resin on these two pieces to make them a little thicker. I'm going to go ahead and stick them down in the mold. I'm going to run this through my debubbler. And then we're going to go ahead and pour. I'll be right back. I did forget to mention that when I put things through my debubbling machine, I always take 99% alcohol and just put a real nice thick layer of alcohol on the top of it. And this way, when the debubbler brings those bubbles to the top, they pop automatically, and it helps a lot. Okay, I have let that go through the debubbler. And I had to put it in a shorter cup. My other cup was too tall. I don't like to mix in these because they have those ridges on the edge. And the bubbles get caught on that. But I mixed it in the other one, poured it in this. It's probably still going to make bubbles because of that. But it is what it is. And now, oops. Actually, I want to spray some alcohol down into the bottom of this. Just to give me the best possible chance of not getting any bubbles in it. This would make a really good back to school gift for a teacher or principal or counselors or school bus drivers. So this mold holds 10 ounces. It's probably not, I made 11 because the resin is a 2-to-1. So I know I'm going to end up with a little bit left over. Now I'm just going to give this a gentle little squishy squish and nudge. Try and get any bubbles to work their way out that might have got caught. And the great thing about the mold is you can see through it. So hopefully if I see any bubbles, or if there are any, I'm going to be able to see them for the most part. I see lots of them coming to the surface, so that's a good thing. Oh, I've been fighting with that. I thought that was a big bubble. It was the wheel on the bus. It was not going around and around. All right, we're gonna add a little bit more. And it's filling in on the outside of the napkin here. You can kind of see that hole. I don't know if you can see it filling up. There we go. Ooh. The gold flakes might not have been a good idea because I really didn't want them in front of my school bus, and they are most definitely all over in front of my bus. I think a couple will be okay, but I got a big old glob of them right there. We go. Oh, we'll see what happens. And over here I hardly have any gold flakes. That is so weird. They want to ride the bus. All right, now I will continue to monitor this over the next 30 minutes or so. And then after that, it should be set up firm enough, hopefully, that we won't get any more bubbles. Stop. That is a wheel. That is not a bubble. Keep thinking that's a bubble. And then you can go around with a long neck lighter and pop these bubbles as they rise. Or you can use alcohol, spray alcohol. Just keep in mind that if you don't have a room filter for your room, that alcohol is a contaminant of the air, and breathing it is not good for you. So if you're going to use alcohol, you really should think about investing in an air purifier that takes out those VOCs. So, all right, I'm going to let this cure, and then when I come back and see you again, we will be ready to unmold this. So it'll be a couple of days. We'll see you then. All right, we got a couple of extras here. So I've got these little pair of lips, and I just put some extra crushed crystal in them, and they're really pretty actually. So we'll probably just put either a tack, and then I had some of the gold in there, so there's some gold sprinkled in there too. Oh, this is the ripple mold, this one, the pendant ripple mold, water ripple mold. Super pretty. A smaller set of those lips, and then I got 4 turtles out of it. And of course, let's do that one in a minute. I dug through my drawer to see if I could find some other extras after I did the butterfly, because, well, I had quite a bit of resin left over, so I hadn't poured one of these in a while. Oh my goodness. Come out of there. You little varmint. There we go. Once you get the nose out, it's not so bad. Just gotta get that thing started. Pretty, oh, over pour there, it fell right off. Pretty little bird. Little bird, little bird. And of course I had to have a butterfly. I'm probably going to end up with one of these in every color of the rainbow. And again, I just added the crushed crystal. Extra, lots and lots of extra. And poured it in. Oh, there's got to be an easier way to take that out of there. There we go. And it's still a little bendy. I got to really quit doing it. Of course, this was the deep pour, so it takes a lot longer to cure. Super pretty. It all sank like I figured it probably would. But we ended up with some of the gold flake in it. And I'll put a little magnet on the back of that one. And then this one is a tough one to unmold. And it is solid. So I ended up having to send this one back to Amazon. That's where I ordered it. Because the small holder on the front, I think it was this one actually, when I poured it last, ended up getting a bubble. And I still have a little bubble right here, dang it. So I have a new mold, and hopefully that won't happen with my new mold, but we'll see what happens. Because I'll pour it again. I want to do another American flag one. I'm getting quite a few requests for those. So I think the easiest way to do this is just to fold these back. It's not easy. It's a tough one. And you think you're going to rip it, and especially when you get up to the part where you're pulling them out of these little pieces. All right, stand by because I got to hold it against me to get some leverage. Be right back. So what I do is I go after these little ones first, and you just break that seal and pull the middle out, or at least this has been the way that's been working for me. Sorry, there we go. And then you work on the big one. And once you get it off the outside, you just squeeze and twist. Oh, it's caught in the middle here. This is the part that always freaks me out, that it's going to tear. Right there in the middle. Get my fingers in there. Come on. And stand by. It all comes out just fine. No matter how bad you think you're going to tear it. And just fold it right side back out. And then I'm going to send this one back, and hopefully the next one won't give me... It's just a tiny little bubble on this one. The cup worked pretty well, but you can see it right there behind the crayon. But anyway. Ugh, isn't that a stinking cute? There are no bubbles anywhere on the top. And the napkin turned out fantastic. What's that? Oh, nothing. Okay. Little less gold flake maybe. Or get it chopped up finer. I like, it still sank. Putting the glue in it didn't help a whole lot. So I think we're just going to leave the, maybe leave the gold flake out of it next time. Or maybe we try just gold glitter. See if maybe fine glitter might work. I still think it's cuter than sin. Super cute. Some of my pieces fell to the what would be the bottom when we had it down there. All of my little stuff right there all fell to the hole there. Oh my goodness. Oh, my crayon. Nope, it's under. It looks like it's sticking out, but it's not. It really turned out super cool. So I think next time I will do the resin trick, or the spit it out, Kathy. Yeah, I've seen these fell too. But you know what? That's okay, because when you put stuff in there, you'll at least be able to see these because they won't be down in the bottom. So that's not a bad thing. I think it's stinking cute. It's going to go on my desk. So I might put it on my Etsy store and just see if there's any interest. But I'm definitely going to make one for myself for my desk. So anyways, what do you think? Do you like it? I think it's cuter than sin. I think next time we'll put UV resin on these and cure them in the mold so that they don't all shift to the top. Other than that, and it's still, I like it, it's adorable. The little resin shapes did really, really well. I was worried because some of them were pretty thick. And I wasn't sure that we were going to get any resin between them and the mold, but we sure did. So I think it turned out great. It's super cute. Love, love, love it. Let me know what you think. What else should we put into this? We can obviously marble it. I don't know why I have to start with the hardest stuff first, but so far I'm happy with it. So love the little mold. It's super cute. I think this will be a really cool gift for teachers or anybody in the education field. And yeah. So anyhow, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we will catch you on the next one. All right. Thanks for stopping by. You guys take care. Bye-bye.